Hey everyone, it's Asia and welcome to my channel. This is going to be a budget video breakdown of my $65,000 wedding. We haven't done a budget video in a really long time, and I know wedding expenses for some of us will be one of the larger expenses in our lifetime after a house or after college. So I thought it was really beneficial to obviously do this, to be very transparent about how much my specific wedding cost per vendor, and also explain whether or not it was worth the price. That being said, we still paid for everything in cash. We're not in debt over it. So, you know, all in all, I think I was actually kind of a hater. I was afraid it wouldn't have been worth it in my opinion. But having the wedding, honestly, my first instinct was it was worth all the money. It was probably the most fun night that we have ever had. Being able to have all of our good friends and family in one place for the first time ever was incredible. The vibes were immaculate. And then I'll kind of go into what made our wedding so special, because I mean, not to toot my own horn here, but we were told by multiple guests that it was the best wedding that they've ever attended. And I think there's one key reason for that, and I'll share that at the end of the video. But let's talk money, honey. Okay, so before we start, I wanted to show y'all how I kept track of everything in our wedding. This is the master plan Notion template wedding planner. We built this during my wedding planning process, so literally it has everything you need. There's even a perks section. I tried to get some small businesses from around the States, and I think even one in Australia, to kind of help give everyone perks for the wedding, because we all know through this video weddings are expensive. There's also a journal section, which is really important because you will go crazy during this process. A timelined to-do list. There's mood boards, guest lists, and then of course the ever so important budget. But yeah, this is what I used, and this is what I'm looking at while we're going through this video. I loved all of the vendors that we had. There were some things that I probably would have done differently had I known things about the way this wedding was going to turn out. But let's start with the biggest expense. So we went with the venue package, and I think I said this in a previous video that if your venue offers a package, take it. It is one, the easiest option that you could ever do, and two, you will probably get more deals going through the package than you would going a la carte. And I brought up the example of our caterer who we used for the wedding through the package. The caterer cost, I think through the package, I think it was maybe $3,000 or $4,000 for the caterer through the package, but when I met with him separately before I started going through the package, he quoted me $8,000. So that right there should convince you to always look at venue packages as you plan your wedding. So through the vendor package, there are obviously different tiers that you can choose from. Within Sunset Ranch, they have different locations that are different prices. We decided, of course we decided to go with the more expensive package, which is outside in the vast area that was the farm. So we decided to go with the tented option. And then from there, there's more expensive tent options than less expensive options. More expensive dance floors, less expensive dance floors. More expensive food options, less expensive food options. So there's a wide range of options for you, affordability wise, depending on what is most important to you. At the end of the day, Brian and I decided to go with the more expensive option just because of the quality of items that we would have. We kind of just decided aesthetically we would have preferred to spend more money on something that we loved versus save money on something that we would hate. So we did go with the most expensive venue package option, and the package option included everything. Not only the tent, the caterer, the dessert bar, the rentals, including the tables, the linens, the chairs, but it also included set up, sit down. It included one main wedding planner and then a few day of coordinators to help. And the total, the total ended up being $40,000 So that was like obviously the biggest chunk of where our money went, and everything else was kind of just add-ons. However, before we went with the package that included a wedding planner, I had previously hired another wedding planner, Angelica, with Anella Events. So technically I had 2 full-time wedding planners, and then like 4 day of coordinators. So there was a lot of people running this wedding. Angelica cost, she did give me a discount, but for her full service, it was $4,700. And obviously, if I had done things the right way and just went with the package venue up front, I wouldn't have had to have that $47 expense. But again, I didn't know what I didn't know, but that's why I always encourage you guys to look for venues that have venue packages, because normally everything is included on that, and you don't really have to go outside to hire anyone else that besides maybe a photographer or videographer. So for hair and makeup, I had Cheryl Brown. So we had 4 people get their hair and makeup done, and that cost $700. Again, Cheryl was fantastic. I actually think she mentioned that a few of you have already hired her for your weddings. So I love, love, love hearing that. She's fantastic. Let's go photography and videography. Obviously for us, Brian and I, that is really important. I mean, our lives are based through photographers and videographers. We're always posting content. So hiring great photographers and videographers for our wedding was of utmost importance. I used my friend Rama. I have shot with her many times. Some of my favorite photos of myself have been shot by her. So she was the only one I ever considered as a photographer for my wedding. The cost for her for, I think it was maybe like 9 hours, was $2,500. And she was great. You know, I think it also helps when you have personal relationships with your vendors, especially at your wedding, because they already know you. They know what you want. I didn't have to pull her aside or anything and explain what I wanted. I kind of just trusted her. And same with our videographers. So we flew out 2 of our friends who are also videographers from LA to Hawaii, Soben and Duncan. They don't normally do weddings, but Duncan is a fantastic photographer, and our friend Soben works with the FaZe Clan. He is probably the head of video whatever there. So there was no second doubt of asking them. So in order to kind of stay within budget, we offered to pay for their flight, full fare flight or round trip flight, and their accommodations in Hawaii. And that cost, so videographer hotel at our hotel was $2,100, and the flight for 2 people was almost $1,200. And that was actually less expensive than anyone based in Hawaii that quoted me. That is one thing that, again, we probably should have done with Soben, that you should do with your videographer and your photographer, is if you're doing a first dance or any of the dances that are choreographed like ours was, I would recommend sending them a video of what exactly your choreography is, so they know where exactly they should be during your performance and they know what to expect and can film it accordingly. So for alcohol, I spent $1,200 at Costco, and honestly, I overspent. I was really worried because our friends are a bunch of drinkers. They love to party. But what I did wrong was I bought the wrong type of alcohol. So I bought more wine than people consumed. I bought less hard alcohol that people wanted. So, you know, ultimately, I think we left, all the hard alcohol was gone, but I think we left with maybe 8 bottles of wine. So our hotel was $3,100 at Aloha Lani. That was included in a group rate that everyone stayed at the hotel. And it was fine. Honestly, it was one of the only hotels that offered a group rate or a group discount. And it was really important for us to have all our guests stay in the same hotel, because in our package venue, we had to hire transportation. We had to have shuttles So it was just easier for everyone to get picked up in one location. And then our airfare with United was almost $2,500 because again, I booked us first class without fully realizing how expensive the wedding was going to be. But I have to say it was worth it. I'm glad that we splurged on first class for our wedding, going to and from. It just kind of made the experience a little bit more special, and we were able to relax and sleep and eat. It was worth it, but that probably shouldn't have been my first expense with the wedding money. Some add-ons that we did get that were gifted to us was the shave ice truck. So my friend actually from high school, he and his family own Kaimana Shave Ice, and they're based in the North Shore, and he actually reached out to me to see if I'd be interested in having a shave ice truck at my wedding because they are interested in expanding kind of their services. They've been wanting to do weddings for a while, so they offered their services at my wedding, so it was free. But let me tell you, that was the biggest hit at our wedding. The shave ice truck, people loved. Oh my God. They built the trailer in a couple months by hand, and we were the first wedding that they did, and I just felt so special. And again, it was really cool to be able to support and be supported by someone from, you know, my past, from high school. I just love that connection, and I'm so grateful that he reached out. But yeah, if you're getting married in Hawaii, shave ice truck. Oh, and then we also, the photo booth that we got, Paparazzi Hawaii, was also fantastic. They gifted us that experience as well. And let me tell you, their filters are unmatched. I don't know what filter that they were using on their photo booth, but it was perfection. Everyone looked like smooth and young and happy and glowy. Basically like the Kardashian photo booths that they have at all their parties. That's the vibe that the paparazzi photo booths were giving off, and it was amazing again. Now we did have to get some other things, like we needed to get ceremony audio. That was almost $600. Again, little like tchotchkes, like the dog figurines from Etsy, which are in our bedroom right now. They were so cute. And then kind of just like family dinners. So our family had lunch together. They met for the first time. That was $700 on our end, and then Brian's parents split it with us. I paid for dinner for, I think, maybe like 15 people, which was $600 when people first got into Hawaii. And then we had our picnic, kind of like our welcome picnic on Eva Beach. Brian paid for that, so I'm not 100% sure how much he paid for it, but I'm pretty sure it was $5,000. And some other miscellaneous things was the dog boarding. So we were in Hawaii for a week. So you have to remember, if you have pets and you have to board them, definitely budget the dog boarding and the vendor tipping into your budget, which is something I didn't do originally. So I was kind of like stressed out about it, but fortunately I have like sinking funds for like everything. So I was still able to pay for it. But yeah, I probably should have budgeted for that originally. But for 2 dogs for a week, it was $1,000, but it was fine. Dog boarding is really serious. I want to make sure that the boys are like taken care of. So I'm okay with that expense. And then the vendor tipping total was $3,000. So that was a last minute expense that I did not realize how expensive it would be. But you know, got to show your vendors appreciation. But all in all, I would say it was a pretty actually amazing week. And what made our wedding so fun was that we invited the right type of people. So you know how I was giving Brian shit earlier for continuing to add to our guest list? Again, I don't regret it, because he added the right type of people. The vibes were immaculate. Everyone was happy. Everyone was ready to party and dance. The fact that my popo stayed to the very end of my wedding and got up and danced with us for the final dance blows my, I mean, it tells me that I'm obviously her favorite grandchild, her first and favorite grandchild, but it blows my mind that she would, I've never seen her at any wedding get up and dance. But since of course Brian is a choreographer, we invited all of his close choreographer friends. Popo was just like enthralled in watching everyone dance on the dance floor. She was up and about, she was dancing, she was taking photos, she wanted to take photos. She was like, let's take a photo together. She never does that. And she smiled. She never smiles. It was fun. Popo was fun. We invited the right people for the right type of vibe that we wanted, which I think helps because we invited mostly friends and less family. So that's just kind of the wedding that we wanted. We wanted everyone to have fun and to relax and enjoy and celebrate us. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm pretty sure that is why people said it was the best wedding. Yeah, so that is the wedding budget. That is my tip to having a bomb-ass wedding, is to figure out the vibe that you want and to invite people accordingly. Oh, one thing I forgot was my wedding dress. My wedding dress was $4,000 plus tailoring was $700, and then I bought an $800 veil. That's the one thing I regret, buying an $800 veil. I wore it for what, maybe 30 minutes? So I felt pressured at the bridal salon, and I made a very poor decision. That being said, I love my wedding dress, and I've decided that I'm gonna, once my dress and veil come back, I think I might rent out my veil, definitely, and maybe my wedding dress to people in LA that might wanna rent a dress instead of buying it. The veil especially is an expense that you will literally never wear again. There's like no moment that calls for you to wear a wedding veil ever again. But I actually do think that I can wear my wedding dress to red carpet events. That's just one thing. The only thing that I regret in this entire wedding is buying that expensive ass veil. Everything else, I loved. Everything else, I'm happy with the decisions we made and what we did with it. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that the transparency with my bridal experience, wedding experience, helps you on your wedding journey. And any comments, questions, concerns, let me know in the comments. But I'm not interested in your comment of, oh, that's such a waste of money. I can't believe you spent all that money on a wedding, blah, 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 blah. Literally don't care. I had fun, I think it's worth it, and really that's all that should matter to you. Anyways, that's it. I am Asia Dang, again, Asia Puspos. Oh yeah, and the license, the wedding license was $50. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video informative, and I will see you next video.